Welcome to the first Patreon discussion video from Azumabashi.
Azumabashi. This is the new wall that looks exactly like all other Japanese walls ever that you'll now get to see for discussion videos.
It's funny because like if you compare this to the last discussion video, it looks exactly it looks exactly the same, like same couch, like same white people.
But we've moved to the other side of the city now.
Yeah, we are now on the other side of Tokyo. And it has been a very busy couple of weeks as we have gotten ourselves moved, and we've gone to IKEA and done furniture shopping and gone to the 100 yen shop about 30 times to buy all those little things that you forget, and you're like, oh, I could use one of those as well. Luckily, it's pretty close to here.
You know how when you go like whitewater rafting? And you're just doing the whole thing, and then you're doing it. You have no choice. There are no choices. You're in the boat. The only thing you can do is get through whatever is coming up next. I feel like we finally made it to shore after that.
Yeah, we were just now sort of getting settled.
And it's all been exciting. Like that feeling is like it's exciting to move to a new place. It's exciting to go to IKEA and see all the stuff.
We still have to go to the bank tomorrow, and we have to go change your address on your driver's license, and we've got all.
I got to the bank.
Yeah,
I am on the shore. I can now relax.
You didn't get to the bank yet. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's been really busy for us, but it's getting like normal. And actually, we got internet installed a couple days ago, so we have internet like for the first time in like a year now, like where we're living. That's like actually good internet where we can watch YouTube and upload videos without having to go to cafes and stuff. So we're pretty excited about that.
I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna compute. I'm really gonna compute hard.
I was thinking since we have internet now, I'm not sure when we would do this, but maybe we should do another live stream. But I was thinking about it because last time we did a live stream was for the American time zone, basically. The European time zone was like 3 a.m. or something like that, but it was like convenient for Americans and convenient for us. Maybe for the next live stream, we should do it for the European time zone.
Okay.
And like try to aim for that. But I need to look at a globe and like a calendar and
you get out a compass.
Sextant.
Yeah, sextant. Yeah.
I knew that's what you were thinking of.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this discussion video is about some of the Croatia stuff that we had last month. And that would be the...
And thanks a lot, Mom. I got really confused about not knowing that we hadn't talked about this video already. So I was like, not arguing with you, but like, we've already watched it.
We already did a discussion video about this.
We already did this, but I watched the video with my mom while she was here, so now...
Got confused.
Yeah, but I've seen the video.
So this is the Istria Peninsula video, and we also, after that, we went to the... We were calling it PVC or something, PVT, the Plitvice Lakes. We had
Plitvice.
Plitvice, yeah, because we didn't know how to say it.
We gave it an abbreviation.
We did because we couldn't pronounce it. Yeah.
I was rocking it. It's Plitvice.
Are you sure?
No. I feel good about it though.
So the Istria Peninsula is on the western side of Croatia, and it sits on the ocean, and it's a peninsula, of course, and. I don't know if it was my favorite part of Croatia, but it was a really nice, pleasant place. That's my memory of it.
How Thailand has like all those things that like everybody, you can go to Thailand and you can do so many things like this and
mountains
that and
mountains and beaches
and hiking and they're just everything is there. I kind of feel like you can get that in Istria in a very small area. If you want to go to the beaches, you can easily get to those. If you want to go adventuring with a bunch of dogs to find truffles, like that's only an hour away probably from wherever you're staying. So I got the impression that it is.
There's a lot to do.
Yeah,
it was very dynamic in the sense of like the type of activities, and it was very beautiful. And I think that if you went over there, a car is like necessary. Some of your own, just having your own freedom.
I didn't even think about what the public transport situation.
I don't think it would matter. I think
we had our wheels.
It was so nice to just have that amount of freedom there. Like it's not, you don't necessarily have to have a vehicle for a lot of places that you go, but there are certain places I feel like you go. Northern Scotland was one of those. You have to have your own transportation. Like it just, even if there's a bus that goes every once in a while, you gotta pack your own. Yeah, so it was really, really cool. I'm really glad you found the truffle thing. Do you remember how expensive that was?
Do you know how much work that was?
No.
It was so much. I had to contact so many different people because there were like 3 or 4 tour companies, and
they usually
trying to figure
take you from Zagreb, right?
I don't remember what the situation was, and off the top of my head, I don't know how much it cost. it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be because we cut out a lot of the things and it was just the straight tour with the dogs, but they will add on a whole bunch of different things because they're willing to come and get people from Zagreb, like you said.
Yeah.
And then you go down to Istria, you do things there, go to the truffle hunting, you eat, and maybe you do something in the afternoon and they take you back. And I was just like, cut out all that other stuff. And I finally found a company that was just like, you want this, we'll pinpoint that. You can get it for this price, which I remember it being lower than what I was going to be willing to pay.
Ceiling, yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's do that. And so that's why I thought we were going to end up in a gimmick. Because I was just like, oh, the price is kind of low, but it's actually letting us do the activity that we want to do. And so I was a bit worried that we were going to end up in some sort of...
We're awesome. The dude that took us out in the woods and stuff was really cool. The dogs were really cool. We got they dug up a few truffles, but one of them was like a fairly substantial size truffle.
He looked so happy.
Yeah,
dude was really happy.
The truffle dude was like, oh, this is really good. And then we got to eat the asparagus and stuff.
Hold on. Speaking of something. Entertain.
I don't know what's happening. I think I do know what's happening.
You know what's happening.
Is it because I said asparagus?
No, it's because we were talking about tasty things.
Oh, okay.
Today is November 11th, which means that it is Poke Day. And so November 11th is 1111, and that's when you eat Poke Sticks.
There's a lot of these like days in November.
You didn't do it right. Look.
Is there
It's got a nice little open thing
I didn't
here.
know that.
You pull on this.
Yeah.
But we did not make it very well.
Well, let's make it 1111.
1111.
You need to get two.
You
out.
gotta get two. Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm not sure if the viewers understand yet. We need to give a...
I've got grab one. There we go.
Really? There you go. November 11th.
Your November. I'm the 11th.
So I think this is like the only day a year I ever eat these things.
But every year you should do this. Alright, truffles. And we ate the truffles that meal. Probably.
I thought the asparagus that we ate in the wild tasted better than the meal in general that we had. But it wasn't a bad meal. It was just...
I did like that omelet. But once you start putting more money on something, my expectations go too high.
That's true. The asparagus in the woods was free.
It was free, and it was delicious.
I really like the Istria video in general because I really feel like it is a good representation of the type of video that I want to make. Because it was just as I feel like Istria itself was very dynamic and there was a lot going on. I feel like that this hit a lot of those things. I like that the video had we got to show off where we were staying a little bit. And it was kind of a unique place that we were staying up on that hill. And it had that nice view and everything.
It showed where we were living. It showed how we were driving and places that we were moving in and out of. It showed the city, and it also showed the countryside. And
it showed an
outdoor activity.
It showed the activity. We went hiking in that video. We went down to that chasm. So I had like another activity there, and then we found
like a tour activity and do it on your own activity.
And we had a bunch of different interesting foods that we found when we were along. Those like pasta things that had raisins and like alcohol or something that. Like there were some interesting things, and we got to try some like I don't know. There was this. It really hit a lot of things. The Colosseum. We found that Colosseum.
Yeah.
We went in, and there was like nobody there. We had this Colosseum to ourselves, basically.
Side note to everyone on this: I was freaking out about timelines like the entire day.
Really?
Because something got thrown off. And I just thought everything's off. You know how when you just get thrown off kilter? And you are almost adamant in your mind that there's no way it's going to work out. And then it just worked out.
But yeah, when I finished editing it, I went back and looked at it, and I really liked the flow. I liked all these different things happened, and it's really difficult to make that what I want of like a perfect blend of a video. It's hard to plan that out for every video because a lot of times the video's content is dictated by the circumstances of the place that we're at. Right? So I think that a lot of people, when they make videos and stuff, they might end up taking and just cutting things and throwing them out and then bringing in content from other places to like pad out things in the way that they want to create this flow
of variety.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people will do that, but because I kind of don't like throwing things out, like because I think that the purpose of our videos is to give people the feeling that they are coming along with us.
And the realist feeling.
Yeah, because I really want them to be honest. I really want them to be like a proper example or a proper explanation of what the experience was. So sometimes I feel like if a place isn't that exciting and the video doesn't come off that exciting, well, that's good because I want that to be the feeling that gets conveyed. You know what I mean? Like
if you're anywhere non-beautiful like Kansas,
yeah,
you want
exactly,
someone to know that.
exactly. So there's certain videos that don't have that flow that I really, really liked about this video, but
Can you think of a place that didn't have that flow? Or what I kind of hear you saying in another way is like a place that's like a one-trick pony, where they have a whole bunch of these things, but they don't have a variety of other things, like, you might go to DC. DC is not known for having adventurous things. It's museums and tours and history. Yeah, and that's wonderful. Like, if you want to go and learn about DC, that's what you're going to be in. But you're not going to zip line from one Smithsonian to another, you know? So the adventure is lost in that one place. So if you did a video about DC, it's going to be...
not going to be weighted properly. It's not necessarily mean that it's a bad place or a bad video or anything, but there was just something about this. My point isn't like exactly to talk downly about other places, but more to say that I like the way that this one came together in general.
Yeah.
And I just like the pacing of it, and I don't know, I think that it just came out really nice.
Yeah.
And I set it as the default video for new viewers when they come to our channel, because we haven't made like a trailer or whatever in a long time.
We do all the things we're supposed to do.
We're supposed to do that, yeah, but whatever. But I just thought, like, hey, this is a fairly good example of what it is I would like to make. So I decided this trailer for now. But, yeah, so in general, I was really happy with just that video. And then...
I was in it.
The timeline of it... No, the timeline of our trip is accurate. Because the next video after the Istria video is the lakes video. But we actually went... we went to Zadar, which is south. So between those two videos, we drove back to Zagreb. And that was at the end of the Istria video where we saw Pluto.
Oh, yeah.
We dropped off the car, we met a couple of new friends, and then we took a bus down to Zadar. And then we were in Zadar, I think, for one day. We didn't film anything.
It was like half a day.
We didn't film anything for one day. Because we were just wiped out. And then the next day we got up and we went to the lakes. Plitvice.
There you go.
And then we filmed that. So we were actually kind of based at... The Plitvice video doesn't really explain where we were staying. It's just sort of a video that disappears. But we were staying in Zadar. And then the next video that will be uploaded either right before or right after the video that they're watching right now will be the Zadar video.
So confused.
It's so confusing. It's so confusing. And then like last week or whatever, we posted a video about Japan, you know? Sometimes the timeline is so like hard to keep track of.
Yeah. You got me. So what else happened in this video?
The lakes were really beautiful.
Is this about the lakes too?
Yeah, we can talk about the lakes video. Yeah.
Oh, it was stupid beautiful.
There's actually 2 national parks in Croatia that are super famous for types of lakes, and one of them is the one we went to, Plitvice, and it seems like more of like you just walk around and you enjoy the atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah, you can't go swimming.
And there's another one that looked like it had like, I saw pictures of like people jumping off waterfalls or something. Like it seemed more active, and the reason that we didn't go was twofold. One, it was still a bit cold. The water was still like we didn't think that it was going to be swimmable, and 2, it was in a weird location where it was difficult to get to from the car rental that we had because we weren't going that far south. And then we tried to find a bus, and the bus was like, it was a really long bus and it was kind of expensive, so we ended up not going to that, but we ended up going other places, of course. But there are 2 of these like amazing national parks.
And I remember doing research trying to figure out which one should we go to.
Yeah.
And we're not big like swimmers, like getting in the water and just sitting around staring at the water. Like I want to rough around and do things, and that's why I went with Plitvice. The other one seemed more like you could just get into the water, go and enjoy yourself, relax. I'd rather struggle all day.
It sort of reminded me of things that we had seen in like Laos and stuff. And
the 9 Steps waterfall.
The 9 Steps waterfall in Thailand, which are totally cool. It's really, really fun and really cool, but it didn't seem So like where we went, Plitvice seemed like kind of a place I hadn't been before. Like it seemed a little more like, oh, we've never seen anything quite like this with the pathways going over the water and everything.
I'm really glad we got to that. That was just a feat of engineering that blew my mind. Every step I was taking, like somebody built this, and I mean like that's everything around you. We're everything around me is like somebody built this, but for some reason these sticks put together about this water. Wow. I'm not very smart.
What was your favorite bit from Istria Peninsula? Oh, and we also went to that island, Kirk. K-R-K.
I remember a little bit about that, like going out to the...
There's not a lot there, to be completely real.
I think if it might have been more high season, or maybe if we had started a little bit early in the day, I feel like maybe we got to some places later, because I remember we got somewhere and we just like, all right, well, we're just going to eat gelato.
I think we left before the sunset. No, it was getting dark when we found that restaurant and we ate at it. The food there was just, we didn't even talk about it in the video. It wasn't that interesting. Yeah, it was, maybe it was low season or something or whatever, but it was fine. It just wasn't like,
it was a thing to go and do for a day.
And we ended up at that little church, and it was the St. Lucia Church, that was a really cool tie-in to the stuff.
Out your eyeball, stick them on a plate with a little cherub.
Do you remember the story behind that?
The authorities in the story cut out her eyes because she was a martyr of some sort.
Brutal, man.
Yeah.
You know, leave my eyes in the brain, like in my head. Don't want that stuff coming out.
Yeah, then I wouldn't rock the boat in any way, shape, or form. They will take your eyes. So just continue on, conform.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else in that specific video that I felt like we didn't dive into too deeply or anything like that.
The gelato was good. I don't even think we made a video about the gelato.
Did we have gelato?
Yeah.
On Kirk.
We stopped, and I don't know, like, we were going to see if we could take the boat out to that island, but it felt like it was too late to go out and do that. But then that island looked kind of boring. The gelato was better than the island, I think, so.
I barely even remember the gelato.
Call on that. The Roman cathedral. Not cathedral. Amphitheater.
Amphitheater. I think I might have said cathedral earlier. Yeah, amphitheater. The Roman amphitheater that we found. That wasn't on Kirk, but on the main part of the Istria Peninsula. It was really cool, shockingly huge.
That was one of the things that I thought, oh, we're never going to make it there in time, and I was so stressed. And
it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I have a question.
I had even more stress about that.
You never told anybody. You didn't even told me. There was a church that we were going to go to, and
I didn't even tell you what was in there.
We couldn't go into this church, and it was because they didn't open until 7 p.m. or something. Do you remember what was in the church?
Some sort of dead bodies.
It was like mummies or something.
Yeah.
You did tell me.
It was definitely dead bodies. And it was just creepiness. It was straight creepiness. And even the more we read about it and the more we heard about it, and the more we were told you got to come back here at nighttime so they can like dissect your brains.
Yeah,
they're going to take your eyes.
We looked it up on Google reviews, and some people were just like, it's really creepy, and the old man that runs this is scary. We were just like, all right, but we didn't end up going back, so we didn't see this like firsthand.
Yeah, once we got to the amphitheater, I was like, if we stay here at the amphitheater, we'll never make it back to that place. So I wrote that off, and we amphitheatered instead. And
we went south to the south tip, and we walked way out into that national park thing down to the ocean, and we saw those boats going by and stuff. Let's see what we got for questions. All right. Craig asks, have you ever considered doing a meetup and drink session in Tokyo for Patreon members? The answer to that is yes and no. The yes part is that if somebody is visiting and...
I've never thought about this.
I have, because people have asked. And the yes part is that if somebody comes and you want to hang out and you shoot us a message about a week before you come, it's possible, if we have time, we can hang out and get a bite. We do it quite a bit, and it's always pretty fun.
We just did it, was it last night?
Yeah, we just hung out with Tammy 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah, that was nice.
And the no part about it is, people sometimes do YouTube meetups or whatever. I don't think we have a big enough following of people that are available here.
Yeah, that people come here.
Yeah, I feel like I worry that if I was going to say, okay, we're going to have a YouTube meetup here, or a meetup for patrons, I think a lot of people wouldn't have access to it, and I don't know. I don't want to make people feel left out.
Yeah.
If I have some, like, you know what I mean, like a big official thing, you know.
So I think what would end up happening is doing one of those live streams where, like, either we're just talking or doing something where people can interact at that same time. I think that's best for the situation that we have, or that new thing that YouTube has where people can all watch
Premiere?
watch a video together. So
thought about, like, looking into
that would be pretty cool.
But like a physical meetup thing, basically, if you're going to be in Tokyo, just message us about a week and a half or whatever before you're going to be here. It's really hard for me to say any further out than that if we will be available. Yeah. Because we don't plan, like, if we're going to go out and shoot something for a weekend or something, that just usually happens really quickly. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard for me to commit. And then we also have to wrap that around, like, how far, where's my editing going? Am I going to have a free weekend, or where is her work doing? Sometimes she has to work overtime and stuff. So it really boils down to if we have free time, if we can meet up with people or not. But yeah, we do enjoy doing that. And if you're going to be in the area, shoot us a message.
We've had a lot of good times, a lot of friendships.
Yes.
So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So yeah, it would be cool. I think. I don't know if I would be personally comfortable doing a big meetup with a whole bunch of people. Yeah. I think that might make me anxious. Like, just meeting people and having dinner is like totally fine, but to think about like 30 people or something, I don't know. I just feel weird about that.
It got melty.
It did get melty. I think it's because it's by your legs.
You're calling me hot?
You're roosting on these pokey.
It's the day.
Lizzie asks, this is a funny thing because we've been talking about this recently. We mentioned in the last discussion video, because we knew we were going to be moving to this neighborhood, which is like super touristy. You mentioned in this video you're treated differently in Japan if locals assume that we are tourists. In what way?
Oh, I got this one.
Go ahead.
I got this one.
Okay.
Let me swallow it first.
Okay.
Full of pokey.
Okay.
So, during the entire time that I've been in Japan, no one has ever done this behavior until the first week that we were living here.
Let's set up the thing. If you have never been to Tokyo, or even if you have and you don't realize, we're in Asakusa, which has got a huge tourist draw. So there's lots and lots and lots of tourists here. There
is one of the biggest tourist spots here that pretty much I think every tourist aims to come and see. And we have the Sky Tree here. I'm not even talking about that.
Yeah, there are foreigners that live over here, but not at the same like percentage as they do in other parts of the city.
Yeah.
So
over
the point being is, like, most of the time when people see somebody who is obviously not Japanese, they're just going to assume tourist.
Yeah.
So that sets up the...
Yes. So they will assume that we are not living here and that we've been here for 20 minutes. And so I had 2 instances where I'm at a store.
In a week.
And I put my change into my hand. This is a very normal thing for me to do. And I start sifting through it just to make sure that I'm giving the right amount of change. Twice I had people try to go in my hand or into my wallet to give them the correct amount of change. And it was just, that's inappropriate.
The assumption being that she doesn't know how to count the money.
Yeah. And it was like, one time was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm at a bakery. I think it was in my pajama pants. I don't know. That's how tired I was. And it was just like, okay, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I can do this. Back up. I don't know what you're doing. Why are you touching my stuff? Yeah, so that's one way of being treated as a tourist. Other things are like the rickshaw guys in this area. People will ride you around on rickshaws, them coming up to you and trying to give you a tour. Like,
that's not. I find that if you shouldn't reach into an adult's hand and ever try to take money from them. That really burns me a little bit. Like, I know they're just trying to be nice, but I really have a hard time feeling like a child. One of them was
not trying to be nice. One of them was tired of how long it takes people to do stuff.
I mean, you just gotta count your money.
Yeah,
it takes a minute to dig out your change, you know. But anyway, I have a hard time justifying that. I'm not really bothered by the rickshaw guys. I mean, they're just doing their thing, and they're just like, hey, you want to go on a rickshaw ride? And I mean, clearly they think we're tourists.
I'm just not used to being approached like that.
Yeah.
You know, like you go through Kabukicho and everybody's like, massage.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I don't get that. This is the massage.
Yeah.
They're trying to massage me.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not being nasty or anything.
No,
and it's
not at all.
You know,
not at all.
But
it's just a new thing of tourism that isn't in my life.
Outside our door. So basically every time we walk outside, that's going to be a thing that is just going to be like, well, until those specific dudes start to recognize us.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure will happen eventually.
And people. The one other thing is that you will start talking to someone in Japanese. Like, I don't think that my Japanese is great by any means at all, but I'm functional in a restaurant situation to make orders and communicate properly, and sometimes you'll just go in there and they will just be jaw dropped. And they won't listen to what you're saying, and they just start repeating to you their English situation because they've turned off that they can understand you.
Yeah.
Or if you aren't saying the 6 words that they have allowed you to say in their mental vogue, like they have 6 items on the menu, if you're not saying one of those words, and maybe you're saying something like
do you happen to have blah blah blah, or you know,
they turn off, the brain just freaks out, and they just start like trying to get to you harder and harder and harder in English. They're not even listening to what's coming out.
Yeah, that happens a lot, and it happens a lot in this area, and it doesn't happen in other parts of the city. Like, it's specifically because of the high tourist rate, I think, over here. So you just have moments where you get talked to in like baby English and stuff, even though you're speaking to them in Japanese, and a lot of times I hear the argument of that being like, oh, they're just trying to be more like accommodating or whatever. And I mean, one angle, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but and the word I keep using whenever this comes up is I keep saying it's emotionally complex, because we've been here for 7 or 8 years or whatever, and I put forth a tremendous amount of effort to teach myself Japanese, and it's emotionally complex when somebody treats you like a baby, kind of, when you have put forth so much effort to not be that baby. And there's just like, they're not taking this 1 second to be like, oh, wait a second, this person's speaking to me, like they're not taking that tiny little fraction. But on their side of the fence, they are just like trying to do their job and get through their day. So
their day shows them
that 99% of times they see a white guy, he just has to function in baby English or whatever. Like, and that's just the level of communication that they can have. But it doesn't mean that. No, I don't think anybody's necessarily at fault, but it just is emotionally complicated, I think, is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
It feels bizarre, and like when we've told long-term resident, like foreign friends of ours, that we were moving to this neighborhood, like their reaction is just like, whoa, there's a lot of, the answer is, well, there's a lot of tourists there, and the subcontext is not tourists are going to be a problem, but the way you're going to be treated is going to be a problem. This is not just something that we were aware of.
I'm trying to think of something that the general public would, like, not a metaphor, but like an analogy or another example of the amount of effort that has gone into your Japanese studying and the situation that you find yourself in. And I am struggling to find something that isn't language.
Yeah.
Like something that you've been doing for 8 years, and then you walk into somewhere and all of a sudden they won't even assess. I'm trying to think of something that would like equate this or give it to.
And I can understand why they would immediately just go into English mode just by seeing me, but like when I start speaking, it should become, as it is everywhere else in Japan that I ever visit, it should become apparent that, oh, we can function in Japanese. And a lot of times people here still won't do it. They like the guy when we had lunch today. Like, I spoke to the guy in Japanese. I ordered off the Japanese menu. It's written in Japanese.
I don't remember lunch.
Yeah, the onigiri things.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like, he just replied in like really, really baby English. And it's just like, I just read the Japanese off the menu. Like, why hasn't the language handshake taken place in the same way that it happens in every other in every other place? It's really strange.
The switch is just turned off.
Yeah. It's bizarre. So I don't know if that gives insight. People aren't nasty to us. Nobody's like reaching in our well, I was gonna say nobody's reaching in our wallets, but they are reaching in your wallet. But they're not trying to steal from us. It's not like that type of environment. But it is. There's these little quirks that I think wouldn't necessarily annoy somebody unless they'd been here for a long enough time period that it would start to get under their skin a little bit.
All right, I think I found a example.
You
Are we running out of
20
time?
seconds.
Okay, so it's like somebody who goes and they learn how to cook. They've gone to schools, they have taken the time and done courses and things like that on their own and taught themselves. And then we go and we meet them and we bring them cup noodle.
Is that what it
That's
is?
the situation. That's
Can
the
you make,
equation.
Can you make this?
Can you make this?
Can you make this cup noodle?
You gotta heat the water.
Yeah, it
up,
feels a
you gotta
little bit
pour it
like
in
that
there.
maybe. We got 3 seconds.
Food.